What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the next video on learning PHP object-oriented programming. My name is QDS Danny and you guys watching my channel Koraiwood. Alright, so in this video we're gonna introduce the constants. What's the constants inside the PHP? As you guys seen here in the previous videos that we said the studio variable this, we can use it with public, private and protected. And keep in mind we're going to come back on this one again, so I'm going to show you guys how we're going to use it with our variable outside the class. So before that one, then we've seen that with the public static, when we use the static, which is a class variable, we can use here the self. We have to use self followed by the scope resolution operator, as you guys seen here. Just as I gave you the example, if you can recall our previous videos that I gave you the example of C++, the C out in OS stream, how we're going to access the C out with double colon, which is scope resolution operator. Also in PHP, if you know that just like a Python, we can use self, but this self with followed by scope resolution operator, you can use it inside the class. You cannot use it outside the class because this self refers to the class. Alright, so we're going to use this one with our constants as well, and we're going to go ahead with our class constants. As I said to you guys, constants, how you're going to put a constant is in PHP. When you guys going to put a constant, make sure the next one, say for example is 1, is always uppercase. So we're going to put a constant, say for example 2, we always put uppercase. There are times in your programming when you want to declare some sort of variable which is going to be the const type, which you guys you don't want anyone to change it. Say for example, if you want to make programming for the hospitals, our hospital name is a constant. Or you go and work in web making company, say like you just have like a Facebook, the name is a constant. No one's can ever wants to change it, or Twitter or Google, say for example, they're all constants. There's things that inside your PHP programming, and I'm sure you're gonna bump up to these ones, because constant means that the PHP is going to reserve a memory inside the internals of the computer, and then you guys cannot change this one. There's no way you can come and try to change this one. If you try to do that, then the PHP is going to throw all sorts of exception, and it's going to go not going to go ahead. All right, so and to see, keep in mind with their constants, you cannot use the $sign. As you guys going to see here, if you use this one, then the PHP is going to be mad, very mad. Okay, so we're gonna, for example, we're gonna see that as how we're gonna access our class. Say for example, we're gonna make a program for American president. So for example, we're gonna put a US, we're gonna put a president, for example. Okay, you can just put a president. You don't need to put a, we're going to make it simplified as a president. Okay, we're going to have a lot of say for example constants. The first one is going to put a const. We want to put a name, and what is the name of the US president is Joe Biden, for example. Alright, so then the next one is going to be const, and we're going to put a residence, for example, and where the US president lives in Washington DC, for example, Washington, and you can put a DC, or you can put it like that. And there is a lot of attributes. Say for example that the president travels, say for example const travels, how the US president travels on Air Force One, for example, Air Force One. Okay, so the US president Air Force One, and what's his phone number, his phone, for example, we're going to put 1, because when the telephone was first invented, the creators of the telephone, they put the first connection to the White House, and that was number 1. If you don't know about the telephone history, so that was the telephone. Even now the American president, I think, is have a number 1 as a telephone number, because the telephone was invented in America. But regardless of the history, we're going to come here in our constants, and we have a 4 constant here. The first one is going to be the name, which is going to be Joe Biden, and we don't want to change this one. And maybe after 4 years you can change this one, but the residence is going to be the Washington DC. We don't want to, that's a no, because American president lives in Washington DC for a very long time. And say for example travel, you cannot change this one as well, because American president travels on Air Force One and it has a phone number of 1. There are 4 constants as you can make as an example for your class president. You can make up a lot of other constants as well for your programming, but when you guys make a program, you guys gonna pump up to a lot of these, and I guarantee you guys gonna have say for example user, or say for example login time, or this and that blah blah. Then it's gonna be say constants. Say for example if you're gonna come here and we're gonna put a function. And what's the function is going to be, say for example we're going to put a president info. We're going to provide all sorts of information to the general public. Say for example we're going to come here and say echo the US president is, and we have to tell the user who is the US president. And as I said here, in your static you can use this self. You have to use self if it's inside the class. Say for example you can put a self and followed by the constants, which is going to be the name. All right, so now we have a method here, which is the president info. We're going to put the first president, American president is, then we put a concatenation, and we're going to put a self, and we're going to put the name here, which is the Joe Biden. We can repeat that one as well, residence, travel, phone, but at the moment we're going to see this one, the name. So we're going to come here, and keep in mind you guys needs to be outside of the class. And if you want to access this one, for example, we're going to come here and we say echo, and what are we going to put the name of the class? We're going to put the president, and followed by the scope resolution operator, and we put a name. So we have a class, we have 4 constants, 1 method, and inside this method we're using the name of, and we put a self, but this outside the class we're going to put a president, which is the class name, followed by scope resolution operator, and we put the name of the constant here. Alright, so here we're going to come here and refresh, and that's our class, and we're going to see the name of the program is going to be class constants. We're going to find the class constants, which is this guys here, and we can see this one is the Joe Biden. But how come we didn't see this one? That's a good question, because now we didn't even instantiate this one, because if you're using constant, you guys can use it directly like this. You can put anything you guys like. For example, we can put an echo, and we can put a president, scope resolution operator, and you can put a residence, and then again we're going to put an echo, then we're going to put a president, then we're going to put a scope resolution operator, then you're going to put a travel, and then the last one is going to be the phone, so we're going to put an echo, then we put a president, scope resolution operator, and we're going to put a phone. Alright, so now we're gonna have all of our here we have the name of our class, and scope resolution operator, and we have our constants, and we didn't even instantiate this one. So we're gonna go and look, and when we look at this one, we're gonna see that Joe Biden, Washington DC, Air Force One and 1. So the reason you guys gonna see is if you're gonna put an echo, and if we put a break, for example, in between, then we can see each other differently, and we can do break, and we're going to do the last one. We're going to put an echo, and we do break. Alright, so now we're going to come and check, and we're going to see that the president's Joe Biden, Air Force, and it's going to be the Air Force One. So as we can see here, there's one thing missing here, is that our method. Here we have a method, and we can see here. So what do you guys think? How are we going to access our method? Because inside our method we have this is access name. So for example, we have a name. You can try all these, but if we say for example we're gonna copy another one and we paste, and we paste again. Say for example we can the US President residence is, for example, the US President name, and that's going to be the self name, and it's going to be the US President residence, and the last one, this one's going to be the US President travels in, and the residence is, and the last one's the US President. Say for example we're gonna put the US President, the name, for example, or the phone number, the phone number of US President in is. Okay, so now we need to come here and change this one. Is going to be the residence, and then we're going to come over here on the change this one to travel, and we need to come here and change the phone number. Then we're going to put a phone. So now if you look in here, we have a method here, president info, and we're using the first one with the self, is using the second one, we use the third one, we use the fourth one. But when you come here and try to run, you only seen this one, the last one, because you guys don't see this one, the literal string here. Why we do this? Why we looking at this ones? We have this one because we need to access the method, as we already know how to access the method, and we need to instantiate this one. Say for example we're gonna come here is president, for example, we're gonna put a pre, or we're gonna put a p, and we need to instantiate this one, and we're gonna put a president. Now that we have instantiated this one, and we're gonna come here and we're gonna say p, we use our pseudo variable this, and we're gonna put the access the president info. So we are accessing this method here, and I'm gonna put a, say for example I'm gonna put echo, because I want to put a break in between. It's gonna be br here, and we're gonna look here, that's president info, and that's a president info, and we're gonna come and check our program. Okay, so they are looking higgly-piggly on top of on one line, but we need to come here and again here we need to come here and put echo. We need to put a break, some sort of break here, so we don't see in one line. And if I copy this one, because that one's very useful, I can put it here and I can put it here. Okay, so now we're gonna come and refresh again, and you're going to see that one, the first one is that we've seen this one outside of the class, and you're going to see this one is inside the method. The US President name is Joe Biden, the US President residence is Washington DC, the US President travels Air Force One, the phone number of the US President is 1. Now this is our method. But if you look in here, that's our outside of the class, but we are accessing this our constant. So that's how you access your constant outside the class with the scope resolution operator. You don't even need to instantiate this one. The only time you guys you need to instantiate this one is when you are want to access your method, but you cannot access your method with say scope resolution operator. The only time you can use your scope resolution operator is with this one, with constant. So as you can see that we can access our constants, because the constants, the PHP reserves memory for you guys, for us to put something here. Even say for example you cannot change this one again. You cannot come here and say presidents is, for example, you cannot come here and say for example Trump, for example. Okay, so now you're going to see this one, we have assigned Trump, and we're going to come here and we're going to see error. because that syntax error unexpected, this one expecting this. So because the PHP is not gonna let you come and change this one, because the PHP expect you guys to put this one. Say here you cannot come and change anywhere inside your program, because that's already inside the memory. PHP already assigned this one the name here. If you guys try to change this one, you cannot change this one, for example. How about if you're gonna come here and copy this one and we put it here again? Say now we're gonna change this one, say for example Donald Trump, we're gonna put a Donald T, for example. As I said to you before, that PHP reserve the space inside the memory for the constants, just because it's not going to let you, if it's not a constant, something else PHP is going to let you change. But here, because we have a constant already defined, Joe Biden, you guys gonna have an error. As in the previous videos we've seen that one, we could change here anything. You can put this one, we could override here, but not with the constants. Once it's defined, that's it. The only time we can change the constant is here on top. It's not gonna here, because they both share the same name, and here is the same name, and we're gonna try to change this one. So we're gonna come here and we try to change, and it says that they cannot redefine class constant. You cannot redefine this one. You have to, once it's declared, it is declared, that's it. So we can remove this one, and we're gonna run this one, and we're gonna see it's all okay. So that's how inside the PHP you can define your constants, and the constants always will going to be with uppercase, and there is no $sign. There is no $sign with the constant. The only time you can define $sign is with your normal variables. So with any other variables, that's okay, but when you come to see constants, and constants are unchangeable, and that's going to be with uppercase, and you can, whatever you can define it, you can define it once, and that's about it. You cannot define anywhere inside the program. If you define again name, and it's gonna come in, PHP is gonna give you error. So when you see the name again and your PHP is give you error, then you think that you have defined this name somewhere inside your program, that the PHP is coming into look at this one if it's already defined. If it's already defined, so throughout the lifetime of your program, this name is always going to be the Joe Biden. The residence always going to be Washington DC. The travel is going to be always Air Force One. The phone is going to be always number one throughout the lifetime of your program, whatever programs you guys writing. So you cannot change this one. It doesn't matter what you guys do, you cannot change this one. But any other variable, you guys can change it. Say for example, in the previous video we've seen that even though we have defined here something, and we could change here after when we instantiated this one, you could assign the value, but it's not going to work with constants, because constants is say like unchangeable. They are something that's like a solid. Okay, so, and you guys cannot use the $sign, because the $sign comes in with a variable. So, and the constants means once you define it, that's it. Okay, so that's how you can define your constants inside the PHP, and that's how you can access inside this. So when, again, the self, it means that you can only use self with the scope resolution operator inside the methods. You cannot do it outside. You cannot use that one, the self, outside. So you cannot do, say, president and then put a self, say like that, and you guys cannot say self here. So if you try to do that, then the PHP is going to be extremely angry. So I'm going to change that, then we're going to change this one as well, and PHP is going to be happy. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. If you have any question or comment, leave in the comment box. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye.